I'm good.
How are things down in now? You're up in the Northeast. What are we dealing with weather-wise in your beautiful home state of Kentucky? Is it similar to the tundra that we have?
We got hit hard, and we've gotten hit hard over and over. This was our 15th federally declared weather disaster since I became governor. So we had about 0.8 inches of ice in part of our state. We had about a foot of snow in the rest. But we've worked really hard. Make sure
to get it done. So you've had 15 weather-related...
And a pandemic.
Right.
And an airplane crash. And a couple of helicopter crashes. So we've been through the ringer.
What's the common thread throughout all this? You know, who was the governor before you?
The common thread is that we band together and we push through.
Son of a gun. Look at you. Now, that's the thing. So, you know, you are an anomaly in the world of the left. You are someone who has accrued power. What did Trump win Kentucky by?
31, the second time.
31?
Yeah.
That's like Putin number. Like, that's, in a democratic society, winning by 31, like, that's insane. And were you elected on that same cycle?
I was elected a year earlier by 5 points. So not bad for a Democrat in Kentucky.
A 36. And if I may, and this is just, I'm just going from some videos I saw, how did you cheat?
Apparently very effectively.
Nicely done. No, but explain that, because there is certainly a percentage of prognosticators that would look at that and think, what's the secret sauce?
Yeah, so I think it's three things. First, I stand up for all my convictions. We push back against discrimination in any form, but I spend 80% of my time on issues that matter to 100% of the people of Kentucky. That starts with your job and whether you make enough to raise your family.
Right.
It's your next doctor's appointment for yourself, your parents, or your kids. It's the roads and bridges you drive, the school you drop your kids off at, and whether you feel safe in your community.
Are you reading this?
I've said it once or twice.
I think a couple of times. So you're basically saying, like, you've found a way to connect your leadership to their actual lives. Is that something that you think Democrats at the national level have not been able to do? Is that the disconnect?
Well, we either haven't done it effectively or we haven't communicated about it effectively. You know, in addition, I'd say the thing that Democrats have to do better is talk like normal human beings. Thank you.
Chuck Schumer has started cursing. If you could tell him to stop, there is nothing I want to see less than that.
But you think about how this advocacy speak has pushed into our lingo, and it had a right meaning of trying to change stigma, but you don't change stigma by changing words. You change it by changing hearts. And so a tough example in Kentucky is we lost a lot of our friends to overdoses.
Right.
But I don't know one family that says they lost a family member from substance use disorder. They all say they lost it from addiction, because that word is that mean, tough thing that takes people from us. But you see it in other areas. You see people saying food insecurity. Listen, when people are hungry, they're hungry.
Right.
Or the newest one is called justice-involved population.
Say that again?
Justice-involved population.
I don't think I've heard that.
Well, listen, we believe in second chances. We've got a low recidivism rate, but those are our inmates.
Right.
And you know what they call themselves? Inmates.
Right. But do you think, is that, you know, I certainly understand, like, there is a frustration with language and those other situations. But I would imagine if they felt like government was responsive in other areas, they might not, if they feel like that's all they're doing, does that speak to, and I don't say this in a bad way, but the consultant class of politicians?
Right.
Because don't they say, you know, like you say, talk normally, that's the thing they say about Trump that they like so much, that he talks, you know, this is how regular people talk, and you're like, are regular people terrible? I don't think they are.
Well, he talks to you instead of at you, right?
But that's different than colloquial language or calling something intellectual language. It's connecting.
That's right.
However you do it.
And so I think the last piece is Democrats are really good at the what. You know, we talk about policy point 3, bullet point 4, sub I underneath.
Consultant class.
Yes.
Right.
But we don't talk about our why enough. Not just what you're for, but why you're for it, what drives you, what gets you up out of bed every day. willing to deal with the mess that is politics right now.
Right.
Because you believe so strongly you're willing to do it.
Is it that you've done those things, or that there's been effective, that the things you've done, they've seen tangible results on?
Oh, it's definitely both. I mean,
Right.
we've broken every record for private sector investment, new jobs, wages, exports, tourism. And so people see their lives getting better. And I think even if you go back to 2024, that last group of voters that were undecided
Right.
believed that the vice president was distracted and that the president was talking about making things cost less.
Right.
And so we have to make sure that the American people know that Donald Trump is making everything cost more. He's
Right.
decimating rural health care. He's posting blatantly racist memes, that he is not...
But if that doesn't connect through, like convincing the population that he's I mean, the guy came down an elevator, I don't know, 15 years ago and was like, Mexicans are rapists. And once you cross that
So
barrier...
he wasn't hiding it.
Right. It's not
Yeah.
like he's been playing coy and we have to convince them. What I found is it feels like Democrats have maybe lost a more accessible, coherent leadership platform, if that makes sense. A coherent governance.
Well, I think it does, but the goal there is how are we working to better people's lives? I mean, right now, look at the polling on the American dream. People believe that if you work hard and follow the rules, you still don't get ahead. We've got...
Are they moved by the things you do? When you build those jobs, do you see a difference in the opinion polls?
So there's a town called Henderson in Kentucky. It's a former coal mining town. It hit hard times, and it was moving to the right. I won it by about 500 votes in 2019. I thought it'd be the last time ever. Right before the 2023 election, we landed the cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill in the country. 350 new jobs, paying $40 an hour.
Solid.
And I will never forget the owner of that facility zoomed in for the groundbreaking, and he said, we're creating 350, and then he used the term in coal country, green jobs. And you know what everybody did?
Boo.
No, they gave him a standing ovation because they pay $40 an hour.
Right. I thought when you said green, they'd be all like, we're leaving.
Not if it's helping them in their lives.
What has this environment that you're operating as, because I imagine it's a really difficult balance that you have to balance those types of jobs with an administration that is clearly penalizing blue states. Now, it might be different for you because you're in a red state, but you're a blue governor. Have you felt any of that personal animus directed towards Kentucky? Has he withheld things from Kentucky in the way that he's done it from other states?
Well, he's withheld things from everybody. I've taken him to court to get money for building resiliently after all of the tornadoes and the floods that we've had. He tried to cancel a grant for a warning system for eastern Kentucky when it floods. I've gone to court with other governors to prevent him from sending the National Guard from one state to another without the permission of that governor.
Right. That's your background, right? Yeah. Your background is you were the Attorney General of Kentucky.
But we also took him to court over things like AmeriCorps. What a great program that's helping out
and he just cut it.
But Democratic AGs and governors took him to court. One, we're receiving that money. Red states aren't.
Oh, because they did. Oh, so here's something. I didn't even think of this. The Supreme Court had a decision where you can't grant universal injunctions.
That's right. And so they thought they'd won that case, but they haven't. So Democrats that have the courage to stand up to them, to say that Congress appropriated this money and you don't have a choice. That money is flowing to our states and not those red states.
That's bold, dude. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the legal system, because how many Democratic governors are there? 23?
We are, just under half.
Just under half. What is it that they can do? You see what he's doing in Oregon, you see what he's doing in Chicago, you see what he's doing in Minnesota. What can the cavalry of Democratic governors do other than lawsuits to kind of form a coalition of people? I don't want to say confederation. That has the connotations are not great. But how can they force amplify to fight some of these really petty things that are being done?
Well, we do. We communicate a lot, and we all know each other well. And what you see is us banding together to go to court, but also to move the court of public opinion. You see right now what's going on in Minnesota.
Right.
The videos, the fact that we have an American body count for Donald Trump's deportation plans. Right. You see his other actions in other states. You see the picture of that 5-year-old child. Listen, that is a child of God just like any other one.
Right. What, is there any fiduciary? Is there a way that blue states can withhold something from the federal government to force his hand or anything?
Tougher because they have a lot more money than we do.
Right.
But what we can do is push back in the ways you're seeing, and some of them have been really effective. That win in the Supreme Court on the National Guard was critically important. Right.
I
think that plus the tariff case are the questions of, will our Supreme Court hold up?
Right.
Will our judicial branch be an effective third branch of government?
Is it hard, the Democratic governors, you all know each other, but clearly now we're moving more towards, the presidential election. Do you guys talk about that? Do you talk about that with like Shapiro and Newsom and all those guys? Like, oh, you running? I was thinking about running. What do you think? Do you guys talk about that?
I haven't had that conversation. We're really focused on 26. And we're focused not just on...
You guys have not discussed with one another whether you'll run for president?
No.
You're not sitting there, you don't go out to coffee in the governor thing.
You mean to say, are you doing it?
Hey, man, you're not going to Iowa. Are you going to Iowa?
Well, John, we're here. Are you doing it?
Me?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. No one else will. Who would be, like, which one of you do you think would be the best president? And on the reasonable question. All right, we'll take the converse. Who's the worst one? The governor. Who's the one where, like, you guys are at the governor's conference and, like, the elevator opens and he's about to walk in and you just go, or she, and you just go, oh,
Ron DeSantis.
So smooth. By the way, I know how that would go. You would go, Ron DeSantis, there you go. Ron? Short joke. All right. The tariffs and all. So the best laid plans of mice and men, man builds, God laughs. What is it that you've done? You've got these plants, you've got these things. How has the tariffs and the chaos of Trump's economic policy affect the things that you put into place? Because I know you did a lot of, if I remember, we talked on the podcast with EVs and batteries. You have big factories coming. Yeah. What happened to that?
Well, it's hit us, and it's hit us hard. Now, we are a state whose economy is still expanding, but that's through hustle.
Right.
Most states have fallen into recession, and tariffs are a big reason why. It's the single worst economic policy of my lifetime. It makes everything cost more for our families.
Tell me how that affects on a state level. So what are the downstream effects of those tariffs on Kentucky?
Think about it this way. Donald Trump wants them to cause companies to build things in the U.S. that aren't built in the U.S. But if you're going to do that, you got to import all the materials and all the equipment from a different country. In other words, doing what he wants to do costs that much more. We were reshoring as a country. The person who slowed it down, if not halted it, is Donald J. Trump.
Wow. So are those plants still going forward?
So we had two of the biggest battery plants in the world. One had opened. We had 1,600 Kentuckians working at it. And listen, they didn't care, Democrat, Republican, or independent. These were good jobs that they were going to be able to raise their family on. That big, ugly bill that's also going to devastate rural health care, cut EV credits. And what happened? Ultimately, the partnership that was running those plants broke up. Now, Ford's stepping in. It's taken both of them. And I think we're still going to hit all those jobs doing storage batteries that will help our grid, that will help us be more efficient. But it's going to take maybe 2 more years. And that's 1,600 people that are being told for 12 to 24 months that they're not going to have that job they trained for. And so it's one of my congressmen that helped push that bill through that is eliminating 1,600 jobs in his district. He called it a liberal pipe dream. I want him to tell that to every one of the 1,600 Kentuckians that has to find a new job.
The person, see, that's unusual. A lot of times, even when somebody might have a sort of dogmatic party line, when it's a colloquial issue, they'll bend on it. Who is the congressman?
That's Brett Guthrie, but he's not the only one.
Right.
This blind allegiance to Trump has people doing things that hurt their state.
Have you seen it wane?
Where do you think most windmills are? in the
most
United
windmills?
States.
Oh,
They're in red states.
windmills.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I was going to say Holland.
Well,
You mean in the United States?
Yeah.
And what happened? Are those now shutting down, or they're having?
They're pushing the projects to halt, making it that much harder.
Right.
And these are states that brag to companies that they have a diverse energy portfolio.
So is this is a plus 31 red state. They went for Trump plus 31. Have you seen, anecdotally or otherwise, an erosion of support, or is it still just it's religious in its fervor still? What are you seeing?
Oh, I think we're seeing the fever break, and I'd look at it as a soybean farmer. A soybean farmer grows.
You're also a soybean farmer?
I'm not.
Oh.
No, my first job was mucking horse stalls, so I am prepared for politics.
Been there, fella. That ain't no fun.
So when you look at our soybean farmers right now, probably 90+% voted for Donald Trump.
Right.
Yet his tariff policy, his cutting of U.S. aid, his cutting of the farm-to-table programs for our schools have hit this group of people to the point of bankruptcy. Their market may never come back. This person that they believed in, that they thought was going to fight for them, is about to ruin them. And you're seeing people
That's just
speak
sad.
out.
That's so hard.
That's
First
the
of all,
hardest part
it's a
of all
hard
this.
life to begin with. That's such a difficult. Farm jobs are so difficult.
So the tough part right now being governor is, yes, you see the numbers starting to move. Yes, it's going to be a good midterm for Democrats, but at the cost of Donald Trump hurting the American people, making their lives that much harder. That's not something that I want to see happen.
Wow. I really appreciate it. I give you great respect. I hope to come visit you in the great state of Kentucky someday.
I promise you I will have a better menu than RFK Jr. when you show up.
Beshear Podcast available Saturdays, Sirius XM, wherever you get a podcast. Governor Andy Beshear.